Alright, so you want to know how to design ads that not only bring in leads but qualified leads. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking only about how to design ads that consistently brings in qualified patients who are ready to pay 5,000 ringgit or more for your treatments and make them walk into your clinic while reducing your ad cost by 30 to 50%. Because in today's day and age, like it or not, right, the creative, the design is the first step towards everything else. If that is not done properly, everything else fails. Doesn't matter how good the back end is, if the front end is bad. Think of it like this: if the door to a house looks like it's haunted, just the door, right? Would people want to walk in? No matter how nice the back end is, but the door is bad. So that's how your ads are, right? You need to understand that in today's Facebook space, right, the targeting is no longer in the back end where you do your little settings over there and you want to target business owners, or you want to target retired guys on the settings there. That is not how it works now. Okay, the targeting is done on the ad itself, and it has to be in a way where it disqualifies everyone else and qualifies who you want to speak to. So again, the design is everything here. Okay, if the design fails, everything in the end fails. Okay, and what I'm about to share with you is not something that I plucked from thin air. It's over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testings of different designs in the Malaysian healthcare space over the years of us being a revenue partner or growth partner for clinics in Malaysia, right? So the results of these ads are, right, if you can see over here, a stem cell clinic who brought in about 63,000 ringgit through this design of these ads, right? A 58.26k revenue for a dental clinic over here, and a fertility clinic who brought in about 95,000 ringgit. Now, this again will not be possible if the design in the first place failed. All right. So, what I'm going to share with you over here in the next few seconds is going to be the most common style of ad you will see here in Malaysia, right? So, I'm going to share that with you, and I'm just going to put it up for like 2 to 3 seconds, and I want you to tell me, and I want you to see, where did your eyes go to first? That's all that I want to know. Where did it go first? Okay, so you ready? Where did your eye goes to first? Most probably the word special promo or the picture of the teeth over there, right? And that is why most clinics ads are failing and getting much more expensive, because what is the word special promo and teeth going to do with anything else, right? We are not qualifying anyone. We are not speaking to the person that we want to speak. So what Facebook is going to do is going to, like, I don't know who you want me to show this to, so yeah, I'm just going to show it to everyone, and you're going to get up and down results. You might get some good deals, you might get some bad deals, but a lot of the time, and I can tell you with 90% certainty, that your cost per leads are very high, okay, and your lead quality is very low, okay, because that ad that you saw just now was the most common style. Everyone else is doing that design. Everyone, your competitors are also doing that design. So Facebook is thinking, who should I give the qualified lead? So let's just say I'm right now a qualified lead from, okay, Facebook wants to show me an ad. Okay, they're only going to show me if both are the same designs. They are going to show me the one who's going to be spending more. That's it. Okay, so you are going to compete with people who can spend more than you, and if you cannot spend as much or more than them, your ad's not going to be shown in the first place. So your design has to not only be good, it has to stand out, and it not only has to stand out, it has to qualify. So do you now understand why the design is so important when it comes to you launching your ads? Okay, so I'm going to share with you what I would change and how I would structure this ad based on all the results that our clients has gotten. All right, so the first thing over here that we want to change is, where does the eye first look into? That has to do with the targeting. Okay, so in this case, let's just say the eye goes to the special promo one first, because only two things that I would go to here first: the special promo or the teeth, right? So the title must do the targeting, and how you want to do that, okay? In the title, you want to put 1 or 2 words that only make sense to your desired audience, nobody else, okay? Or you want to just call the audience out as the title, okay? Because you want to make it big and bold and make it the first thing the human eye naturally goes to, okay? Because if the eye doesn't know where to go to, it's going to scroll away, all right? If you control the eye, you control the mind, okay? In Facebook, you make them stop to scroll by controlling the eye. You got their attention, now you want to control the mind, okay? You want to tell them more about it. But before I go into how do you want to control the mind and I'm going to talk about how you're going to control the eye, okay? So I have 6 designs over here. So the first things here is like, for example, for a dentist, all right? First thing I probably goes to is the word gigi hilang, kembalikan gigi hilang anda, or the red circle that I circle up over here, all right? So immediately, if I do not have gigi hilang, I'm going to scroll away. But if I do have gigi hilang, I'm going to stop and I'm going to continue reading, okay? That's all it takes to qualify and filter who you want to target to, all right? Over here, the big word postpartum. If I'm not in postpartum, or I am not even a mother in the first place, I'm going to be scrolling away. I won't even stop here, right? But if I'm in postpartum, I'm going to stop. I'm going to say, what is this about? And I'm going to read, all right? So over here, handicap 9. If you are a golfer, chances are you don't even know what handicap 9 means, right? But if you're a golfer, you will know what handicap 9 means. So this is exactly how I target my desired audience through the title and the creatives itself, okay? So these are examples of words that only make sense to the desired audience, okay? And the other 3 that I'm going to share here is just examples of calling out the target audience themselves. So the first thing you're going to look over here is dentist, right? So essentially, if you're a dentist, you'll stop. Over here, child's confidence. If you have a child, you will stop, right? Over here, gym owners, the first thing eye goes to. If you're a gym owner, you'll stop. So the first thing the eye goes to will decide if the person is going to stop and look at your ad or not. If that fails, it doesn't matter what else is inside the ad, nobody's going to read it, all right? So going back to the topic, you have to control the eye to control the mind, okay? Now, you designed the title, you got the call out, you're speaking to who you want to speak to, you've captured their attention. Now what do you do with their attention, right? That's where the second part comes in. Now you control the eye and you got where it wants to look at first, okay? Now you want to tell where does it look next. Controlling it one time it's not going to make any difference. You have to control it for at least 3 times. Number 1, to stop. Number 2, to understand. Number 3, to decide what it wants to do, all right? So the second part over here is understanding, making the eye understand what it's looking at, okay? And chances are a lot of people, when they design these ads, it's very confusing to the eye. And when the eye is confused, you're going to lose the scroll. You're going to lose the click, all right? So how do you design this part? Okay. You want to first sell to the eye. Now you've captured the eye. You want to sell to the eye. Because only when the eye is convinced, the mind kicks in. I'll say it again. Only when the eye is convinced, the mind kicks in. That's just how humans are, all right? If the eye cannot understand, they will swipe away, all right? So how I'd make it happen is I use size differences and colors to control the eye. So if I notice over here, I use size differences. I make the big one big, postpartum huge, and everything else just a bit more smaller. So the first thing the eye looks at is postpartum, and then it looks into everything else around that picture. Same thing over here, a big picture of handicap 9, and then it looks into everything else. Most people think that naturally people look from up to down. It is not the case, all right? It goes from where it attracts first and then everything else, okay? So in this case, you want to use size differences and you want to use colors to control the eye, right? And it, again, like I said just now, it doesn't matter if you put it up or down. Whatever is bigger and is more familiar will get the eye first, okay? And if you make it all look the same, all right, the eye goes to its default setting, which is the F pattern. Now, the F pattern is something like this. This is how our eyes are programmed to read anything, from books to newspapers to your phone to Google, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you scan anything. And so if everything else is the same and the eye doesn't know where to go to, it goes in this pattern. Okay, but before it goes into this pattern, in today's very, very, very competitive world, they will just scroll away. All right. So always make the big fonts, the big pictures, the main USP to get them to understand what they're looking at. Okay. And after they understand what they're looking at, only then you can tell them what to do. You can tell them where to go. All right. So in this case, I would have put something that makes them relevant into the braces ad. I would big a big call out over here, targeting, for example, if I'm targeting students, I would put a big student title over here, or I put back to school promo or something like that, something that only makes sense to the audience, right? A back to school promo wouldn't sound too enticing to somebody who's a working adult, so they will scroll. But if you're targeting students, that's where you want to get them to scroll, back to school promo. All right. And then I get them to understand more about the braces. That's the second part of the ad. Now the third part of the ad is, okay, I stopped. Okay, I stopped. I looked at the ad. Okay, I understand the ad. I read it. I understand the ad. What do I do? Okay, there comes the third part, which is called the CTA, the call to action. Okay, this is the last part of the ad structure and the ad design that you have to master, because again, if they don't click on your ad, nothing happens and you lose the scroll, right? So you want to entice them to click on the ad. Okay, so the third part over here is called a CTA, the call to action, which is the close, the last thing the eye sees. Okay, and you should only answer one thing. Okay, I'm interested. What do I get now? Now, if I click on this, a lot of people also make the mistake of trying to talk about the end goal as a CTA. For example, get your dream smile, get your dream skin, cure X, Y, and Z today. You know, that's not how you want to attack this. Okay, because if people know where you want them to go, they will not go there. That's just how people are. Okay, so don't sell the end, sell the next step. What I mean by that is, if the less complex you make the next step sound, the chances of them taking the next step is much better. And if you just do it step by step by step by step, eventually they reach to the end goal. But most people like to skip and start talk about the end goal, and most people won't go there. All right. Why? It's because in today's world, people are full of fear, worry, overthinking, anxiety, especially when it comes to someone showing them an ad. The first natural response they have is, can I trust this or not? Can I trust this person or not? Okay, the price is good, but can I trust this person or not? Right? So if your audience again knows where you want them to go, they won't go there. So you need to subconsciously tell them to just take one step first, and you'll eventually get them there before they even know it. So what are my favorite call to actions that feels very light, feels very not heavy, right? Is get a quote now, register now, WhatsApp us today, or check your eligibility. This is my favorite, right? Because it comes from a point of authority. Check your eligibility, right? And all these feels very, very no strings attached, in lack of better words, right? Oh, I'll just click on this and get a quote now. I'm not going to pay anything. I'm just going to register now. I'm not going to pay anything, right? I'm just going to WhatsApp us today. I'm just going to check out, right? I'm going to see what this is about, right? It's very low hanging, and so people will click. And then you can talk about everything else you want to talk about in the funnel, in your website, or on your WhatsApp messages. Okay, so again, if I were to summarize everything, it'll come down to three things. All right. Number one, you filter the audience with the title, which is the first look the eye goes to. That does the filtration. That does all the targeting you need to target again. Not the backend, not the settings where you put the interest targeting or the audience targeting. It does not work in 2025. Those are way outdated back in 2023. After that, it doesn't work anymore. And the sad part is you probably didn't even know that until the end of this video, right? So interest targeting in and of itself is outdated because the algorithms are getting smarter and smarter day by day. And eventually there will come a point in time where you don't even need a media buyer anymore and AI will take over everything, right? So all of the targeting has to come from the creative. If it fails, everything else fails, okay? Number two, you have to convince the eye. This is the second look. Now that you capture them, right, you want them to understand what they're looking at, okay? So this is the second part of the ad that I talked about. The third thing is you want to convince the mind. Now that they understand what they're looking at, you want to tell the mind to click, right? And this is the third and final look. Okay, very low hanging fruit CTAs, very light CTAs that just gets them to click, to discover more, to learn more, right? So that's why I also don't like to use the word shop now and stuff like that into that in the creative, because it feels very heavy. You feels like you're asking them to buy something, right? And people won't do that, right? So if you just put some small stuff like register or discover or learn more, like very light stuff, you'll get the click. All right. So all in all, that's just what I have for how you should be doing your ads and how you can get results like this through very, very clever design steps that primarily focuses on human psychology and where does the eye go. All right. If you just keep asking yourself where does the eye go, you'll have yourself a very, very good creative, I assure you that. All right. So if you're interested in getting us to work with you guys for designing the ads and building up a whole funnel to get you very qualified treatments to get results like this, right? Just click on the link below, book a call with us, and I'll speak to you in the call. If not, I hope you take away a very, very important lesson here in how to design these ads and use that new knowledge of yours to improve your marketing funnels. Take care. See you. Bye-bye.